The music is going in and out on my end. You hear me?
You can text that to me.
Text it to you.
And anything like that, just text it, child.
We live?
We are literally live. Let me see.
Oh,
We just like wait for a few people to come in, give them time for the notification to go out. But hopefully you can hear the music now. That was for those of you who are actually in the room. You can let us know that you're in the room. And yes, okay. So hey, Connie, my cousin said yes, we are live. So Bianca, literally.
hi, Connie. I'm crazy. I didn't know.
uh, I would send this out again, but I feel like I want to just remind people to when you come in, make sure that you hit that notification bell so that you will always know when we're on. Hey, Tanisha,
Hi, Tanisha.
you'll always know when we are live because 9 times out of 10, this is always going to be a live podcast. This is what God gave me almost 7 years ago, I believe. And so here we are. Now my mouth is open. I'm able to speak freely concerning what I endured. I don't have to try to come up with the words or try to, like put someone else's story behind my story to insert my story in the Me Too conversation. Now I'm able to say, yeah, that happened to me too. I'm able to say what happened and all the things. So God has opened my mouth to speak freely concerning what I went through. And so I'm excited tonight because we're going to go a little deeper into our podcast and just unlock some more prison doors. We got a lot of responses. So far, we've only been doing it maybe 2 weeks now. This is
Mm-hmm.
the third. This is the third podcast. So we have almost 200 listeners, people who have actually subscribed to our podcast. So that is a win for the kingdom. I mean, even if it's one soul, he leaves 99 to go after the one. And so we're opening up prison doors tonight. And of course, as y'all know, I'm the churchy one. And Bianca is not so much.
Oh
But
my
she,
gosh.
but she is connected. But she literally,
I know God for myself.
y'all might get, a little bit of ratchet, a little bit of bougie, a little bit of some words that the church does not like. But
I'm
y'all
trying not
know
to curse. I'm getting better with the curse words, by the way.
she is. So I don't try to muzzle her mouth because it's been muzzled long enough. I feel like, whatever she wants to express, I let her just speak because her mouth has been closed since she was 6 years old. From 6 to 15. And so, of course, we don't want to muzzle that. And so, with that being said, hey, Treaders, welcome to Power to Tread podcast. I am your host, Sarah Shay, and Bianca. You can introduce yourself.
And I'm her co-host, Bianca Taylor.
And we're just here, y'all. Our main goal is souls. And it's done in such an unconventional way that we know is kingdom. If it was traditionally done, we would not be speaking concerning the things. Hey, Tammy. Hey, Trevor. Welcome to Power to Tread podcast. Make sure that you hit that notification bell so that you are always aware when we are live. Even whatever we're doing, I might even go not just live, but I also will be, praying. So that may be live, or it may just be in the form of, going before God and just uploading, the conversation that He and I have. Because I do want to make sure that prayer is a part of the conversation. Y'all, everyone that knows me knows that that's a part of my life. And I don't do anything without praying first. So yes, as I seek God, I'm also praying for the souls that are attached. They are global souls, so it's not just a Philly thing. It's not just something that's in another state, but it's actually literal souls that are attached from all walks of life, men and women who are hurting, who are wounded, who have forgotten their resting place as a result of foul leadership, pastors who preyed on them. And so we want to actually really talk about that tonight. I want to go deeper into story. Our vein is, um, behind church doors. So the four walls of the church, which should be sacred. But as we know, it's not a sacred place. I know for me, it was never sacred. The moment I walked in to those four walls and realized that the leader who everyone was standing for and clapping for, and all of the applause and all of the accolades, I from that moment, I knew. I didn't understand like how I remember this man, like the feeling that I got when I embraced him that first day at about 11 and a half years old, after I walked through some major trauma. I will never forget that feeling, and God allowed me through my stroke to unlock my prison door, walk out free indeed, and able to speak about all of the things that I went through. And my journey with this leader actually started at the age of 6. And I'm able to speak now, so I'm just going to just flow and if y'all don't mind. And of course, we do have a format. So let me just calm down for a moment and not go so much into what it is that I um, have to say. And so I want to just relax into podcast setting. And somebody said, "Hey B." Okay, so somebody's talking to you, Bianca. Said, "Hey B." So if you're in the chat, if you don't mind coming into the chat and saying hello in the chat, and let us know who you are. And if you don't want to say who you are, you can just say hello to Bianca, because if you're here for to just support her, we appreciate you. Make sure that you like,
Yes, thank you,
comment,
thank
and
you.
subscribe. So yeah, they said, "Hey
But I
Bianca."
told you last time
Um,
that my comments are delayed. So I don't see
okay,
hey
okay.
B right now. But hey to anybody who said hey B.
Yeah,
Hi.
we received some feedback from last week, and we did the week before that. Y'all can go back into the podcast from the first podcast up until this one, just to be caught up and what just the flow of our conversation. But tonight, some questions came into the chat, and it was definitely after the fact because we didn't see these before, but a lot of people did sign on and subscribe as a result of finding us. So one of the questions, and you can do the first one and I'll do the second one. And if you have you want to do anything in between that, like number one, number two, whatever, we can jump in anytime. You know how we talk any other time, so just talk. Um, but the first question, it says, looking back now, were there signs of grooming or manipulation from a pastor or church leader that you didn't recognize at the time? Yeah, question.
I'm trying to figure out how I really want to answer that question because it started so young when I was 6. I don't know if I recognized in the beginning that there were signs of it. I think I was just kind of going with the flow. He what I can remember from my younger ages is that he always acted as if he favored me for some reason, like I was more special than the other kids at the church, if that makes any kind of sense. Um yeah, he would say I used to sing and dance at church, so he would tell me, you're the best, blah 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 blah. When other people would do it, he would make little comments like, "Well, they ain't got nothing on you," stuff like that, like to make it seem like I was just more special. So I think that was kind of grooming when I was younger. As I got a little bit older, I started to realize that it was just getting a little too weird. Like, why are you always in my face, basically? Like, it started feeling weird. Like, I couldn't really pinpoint it, like why it was weird, but I understood that something was going on that wasn't supposed to be going on,
Mhm.
or that he was feeling some type of way that he wasn't supposed to be feeling, especially around puberty. I would say 12, maybe even 11. I would say 11, 12, 13 is when it started to get like I started to have weird feelings. Like, why is he always complimenting me? Why is he always wanting to be around me? Like, and then that's when it started to feel weird. But since it had been happening since I was 6, I thought maybe I was tripping. Like, well, maybe this is normal because this has always happened. So maybe I'm, you know, going off the deep end and thinking something that I shouldn't be thinking because it's always been like this.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
really the best way I can answer that question.
For me, my grooming started. The highlight that I remember significantly was when I was 6, and it was the first day of first grade. His daughter and I went to the same school. We were my parents were out of town because they used to have a singing group called Priesthood, and so they were always on the road with like um, Walter Hawkins and Tremaine Hawkins and the wine open up for these groups. And so we were left alone a lot. Besides, this particular pastor, I was also left alone with my older brother who was already, molesting and all those things. And so I was familiar with that spirit. And if those of you who know me know that I actually really do have the ability to discern. I've had it since I was about 2, 3 years old, my mother, according to my mother. So every time I was in the presence of this particular predator, and this is like moving, a little bit into how once I walked into the church, I realized like, oh, this is the pastor, because it was such a ick. And everyone that has been through this understands what I mean. It's like something that you can't really put your finger on because you're a child, so you can't articulate it, but you can feel the spirit that walks in with them. And so imagine this: at 6, this man is in my presence, and his wife was there too, and his other children. So why were you the one that did my hair for first grade? So him being able to touch me that closely is I believe was the first time that the grooming started,
Oh,
if that makes sense. So that grooming, I was familiar with him being in my space. Now keep in mind, this predator, a father who was a predator, who was doing the same thing to his children,
mm,
and also the children in his family. So any female, I believe the males too. And that's not allegedly. So, but he was doing it to his children and their children. So his grandchildren, his great grands. This predator, got it honest. He grew up in an environment full of perversion and lust and all the other things that come with demonic activity. And so, yes, he was in my presence. So, I didn't recognize it at the time, but when I got into that church, like the first day, I literally turned to my mother and said, "That's the pastor?" Like I asked her that question at 11 and a half because I
mm.
was confused. Because the spirit that I was looking for God, I was looking for Jesus literally to show up that day. Those of you who know are familiar with my podcast, literally episode 1, I talked about my first experience in the black church, stepping foot in. I did not realize at the time that I was walking through church doors looking for Jesus that I would find Satan himself. So I walked right into the hands of Satan, and it's crazy that I actually made it out. So that's the first question. The second
I
question
have a
was,
question.
oh, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Dang. All right.
Girl, I'm trying to calm down.
I want to
Anxiety.
know, and this is a very important question because this is the way it starts. How do groomers in the church environments gain the trust from the children, the families, or the vulnerable people without raising suspicion? Because this is important for us to kind of unpack because you can catch this before it happens if we know the answer
Mhm.
to this question. Like, how do they
Yeah,
gain
that
their
is a good
trust?
question.
Like, how do they gain it?
So that came from one of our treaders. They literally asked that question.
Okay.
So, how do groomers in church environments gain trust from children, families, or vulnerable people without raising suspicion? Wow.
That's a deep one.
Uh, I I feel like because they hide behind that mask, with a mic in their hands and that dancing that that man used to prance around and do in my face and in our faces,
Mm,
in the word of God that should be a light unto our path. um, that's how I believe that they gain, uh, trust, not just from children, because children are heritage from God. Children are so in tune with God at that young age, at that impressionable age. They've encountered God in a way that we wouldn't even understand. That's why he said, except we become like children. Like we got to literally take on the role of a child to understand how to really, get in. And I feel like these predators have the attributes of Satan himself. Like they're children of Satan. They're sons and daughters of his. So they know how to maneuver in and out of character. And especially in the environment that they thrive in. They thrive in the church environment. They don't thrive in the kingdoms. Let me make a clear distinction. In the
hmm
kingdom, these groomers would never be able to thrive because that's not the activity of the kingdom. We don't operate like that. So in the church, there's a different system in operation. Like that environment is set up where the flesh has to be the main character in the storyline, and so that flesh drives them into the families and the vulnerable, the children. That trust, that environment. I feel like that's what they thrive in, so they're able to actually shapeshift, if you will.
Right.
Hmm.
All right. Well, I would say for me, my abuser, I felt like he gained trust because one, he was a scholar, and people are always gonna, you know, feel like someone so prestige wouldn't do anything wrong. He was a valedictorian at Princeton University. Um, he was a youth pastor at only 27. Um, he always talked about what was best for me and what was best. I wasn't the only child being abused, by the way, but he would always push what was best for us when it came to our schooling, um, when it came to our daily lives. So I feel like he gained the trust of my parents initially from just acting like he wasn't the best for me when that was a joke, obviously, and a tactic that he just used. So I think that that's the way it went for me. I think that's how he gained their trust. And with me, I don't think he ever had to really gain my trust because I already knew that my parents trusted him. So
Right, right.
I was already, he didn't have to gain mine. But that's the way he gained his. I mean, theirs.
That's a real significant point because I feel like my parents were his best friends. They hung out together. They literally at one point they were living in our home bases. They were there all the time. They never went home. And so our families were so close knit that my mom and dad trusted them enough to have them watch their children while they were on the road. So even though we had an older brother, an older sibling who was capable of, you know, obviously holding down the fort because he definitely was there more than he should have been. But that's another topic. But I do feel like that's how he got in. So that's a good question because I didn't even pay attention to that point. I was thinking church, but I wasn't even looking at the fact that he was there because they allowed him. They gave him access.
Yeah,
Wow. So I
that's
have a
crazy.
question from one of the traders. What emotional, spiritual, or psychological effects did grooming leave behind for you later in life?
I think I touched on that a little bit last week. Um,
Yeah, that's
but
why they pulled it up. They wanted to know, like, they wanted you to go deeper because you only talked about the some of the emotional parts, but you didn't
oh,
go into like the psychological or spiritual
got
side.
you, got you. All right, so last week I talked about the fact that I just don't trust anybody around my children, and it's just complete paranoia all the time. That's psychological, though, by the way.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Also,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
also, I have nightmares, and when I tell you
Mhm.
nightmares, wake up in a sweat, wake up not necessarily screaming, but wake up like in a big gasp. So what happened is I'm asleep and I'm having a dream, like a random dream. Um, and then out of nowhere in the dream, he would appear in the dream as a part of the
Yeah, yep,
dream.
yeah.
And
Mm-mm.
that is terrifying. And when you wake up out of that, it's hard to go back to sleep. So, like I said, I got a lot of sleep issues because that happens so often that I, I can't have a steady sleep schedule because it
Yeah,
happens
Abdul,
all the time.
one of our traders from New Jersey, I believe his name is Abdullah. He said, "I just woke up from a nightmare. What the heck?"
Right.
So yeah, I
It's
pray that
terrible.
God will allow you to have good sleep tonight, and that the enemy
Please,
will
Lord.
literally leave you alone because yeah, we don't want that. We want you to really be able to get good sleep and wake up refreshed, and that is our prayer. Amen. Okay.
In Jesus'
I just want
name.
to. Oh no,
Because
no. Oh
I
yes.
want to go to
In Jesus' name. So in Jesus' name,
sleep.
yes.
I
See,
want to
she's
sleep
not.
too.
She know God enough to say in Jesus' name. Okay, y'all heard that? Come out. All right. But, so no, go ahead, go deeper because you just see how that just came
um,
out because you were talking. So that's a good thing.
um, I suffer from extreme, I want to say crippling anxiety. Like, I don't know if you can even tell it when I talk. Like, I suffer from crippling anxiety. I have panic attacks regularly. I'm learning. I've found out ways to kind of deal with it, to pray, take breaths and breathe, and all the exercises that you're supposed to do. But it's still something that's there, and it's something that I still got to work through when it's happening. So that's psychological too, and that's just terrible.
Yeah.
Um, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I don't want to interrupt you. I know we usually cut each other off when we're talking normally,
Right.
but I'm trying to. We're trying to like be as professionally unscripted as possible.
We trying. All right. So yeah, the panic attacks are crazy. The anxiety is crazy. Um, I don't know if the people who are listening know I'm a makeup artist. So a lot of times when my anxiety is real high, I can't hold a steady hand, and that
Hmm.
hinders me from doing my job a lot of times. So there, uh, the effects are crazy. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I can attest to
The
the
shakes.
nightmares. The nightmares are crazy. Oh no, the shakes are real. So yeah, I needed her to do my makeup for an event, and when she came in, she was already at high anxiety. Where we were, clearly it was the reason why this took her to another level of anxiety. And so she could not do my brows. Like she was shaking to the point where she could not do my brows physically. I think I might have had to start my brows and just you had to come back after you were settled.
Yeah, you
So
had to
that
help me
is
out. That was
like I've
crazy.
witnessed the debilitation that comes with trauma
Yeah, and
from
sometimes I can't
child abuse.
even. Sometimes I can't even when it's really bad. I can't even hold a cup of water. Like I'm shaking so bad I can't even hold a glass of water because it's gonna spill. So it's that bad.
Yeah, I as recent as a couple of months ago, it's like right after October, I had an event at the well, and I came home from that event a couple of weeks later, like maybe a week or so later. The Lord instructed me to start church doors, which we're doing now. That's part of what we're doing now. And immediately when I put out the excerpts, my abuser, who has never been in my stories on Facebook, showed up in my stories. The anxiety that came with him showing up, like his picture, his showing up, and his face. Every time I put something out, he was in my story. So every story, and I could hear the enemy speaking through him saying, I dare you to open your mouth. I dare you to say, I dare you to tell. I dare you. Like you better not say nothing. Didn't I tell you to keep it? Didn't I tell you to keep it between us? And I promise you, the fear that tried to grip me, it's like the gag order that God just took off of me made an attempt to reinsert itself. And when I tell you, I would go to sleep and I would have nightmares. I will literally in the middle of those nightmares, and I'm a dreamer. Prophetically, I dream visions, all that stuff. I had nightmares because of him showing up. And when he would show up, he would just disappear. He would come in like just in front of me, and he would be trying to joke and like, hey, hey, prophetess, and all those things. I would hear his voice, and I would wake up like just panic, and I would sit up and have to like literally hold, like grab my husband and like wake him up to calm me down. And so that I went through that a couple of weeks, and finally, my husband said, uh, "You don't have to be afraid at all. Like." You open your mouth, you do what God told you to do, and don't worry about him. I said, yeah, but what about his age? And what about, his family? And what about, he said, yeah, what about? What about you? And what you walk through and what you're walking through. Yeah, no, you don't care about, don't focus on that. The enemy wants you to be distracted. That's why he showed up. And I just kept my head down and kept plowing. And here we are. So I understand that emotional it's a lot. Oh Lord. So any questions in the chat so far? And I want to say, hey Curtis to those who I see coming in. And I know that when we hang up, normally we, are able to see who actually was sitting in and we didn't see you or say hello. So if any of you are in and just want to say hello, let us know where you're from. And if we've answered any questions so far, and we're not, this is just a question and answer segment of our podcast because we did have five that I picked that were specifically for the grooming and emotional and psychological side of what we're going to talk about tonight. And so that's why we chose that. And I know it's a little delay, so we're going to just keep going. But if you have questions, just do us a favor. For those of you who are that sent a text from Bianca or got the link from Bianca or myself, just inbox us and DM us or text us and let us know if you have any questions or you would like us to just talk a little further, help you navigate through some things, and we will be happy to do that. So.
And
Um,
also, can you guys let us know if we're answering the questions enough? Like, does it is it penetrating or does it seem surface? I want to make sure we're really relaying what we want to say because this is
yeah,
difficult for us too. So I just want to make sure I'm answering as raw as possible.
And we'll kind of let y'all. We'll just wait a second if we can. Just somebody say something so we can actually know. I know the delay is going to make it. It kind of comes up afterwards. I got a lot of messages afterwards the last time, so I do know as long as we're live, that I'll get them. I'll actually get the transcript after the fact. So we'll answer them after the fact. So let's keep going. So I have a question from another shredder. They want to know, why do you think so many survivors struggle to speak up when the person grooming them is viewed as anointed, respected, or trusted in the church? So why do you think so many survivors struggle to speak up?
From personal experience, what happened to me is because you think that no one will believe you. Um, I had two separate abusers at my church. The main one that I speak about from six, that's the one I've been talking about so far, but there were actually two. When I was 15, I came forward about an elder at my church, and nobody believed me at first. Literally. They were saying that there's no way that could be true. You're reading it wrong. uh, Something like it's no way it could be true. So it's basically like nobody's gonna believe it. And I knew they wouldn't because they looked up to him, and he would get up there and preach, and he was over different boards and stuff at the church. So I kind of figured they wouldn't believe me. And that's what kind of took me so long to say something in the first place. But then when I actually said something, they actually didn't believe me. So that fear is there. Like that, are they gonna think I'm lying? Um, that case with that elder actually went to trial. A lot of the church members got up as church members that I grew up with since I was a little girl got up as character witnesses for him, saying
Hmm.
that this can't be true and she must have done something to. uh, They just don't believe you, and they're not going to believe you unless you have some
Yeah.
type of actual proof. So I think it's just that fear.
I know
I
for
think that's
me,
the reason why I don't speak up.
yeah, my abuser was definitely well respected. Well respected. Like it was such growing in an apostolic church. You are forbidden to speak about the pastor. You better not say nothing on God's anointed. Don't touch God's anointed. Don't do his prophets no harm. That scripture was embedded in our spirits. We were not allowed to address an elder or a pastor. We could not like tell them that they were wrong doing anything. We really were forbidden to disrespect, so to speak. They made sure that you had this high reverence. And so everyone labeled me as Jezebel. They labeled me
Yep.
as fast. They labeled me as, like chatty and gossipy and disrespectful. And so they made sure that he made sure, I'll say it this way, he made sure that any possibility of anything that I said out of my mouth, he made sure to discredit it. So I was already labeled gossipy, chatty, a liar, and all those things from his mouth over the pulpit. He would say things to make sure that people did not regard me as who I am in the kingdom, who God made me to be in the kingdom. So he made sure that I wasn't, my name wasn't called. I wasn't allowed to teach, preach, do anything. Like, and if I did, it was very limited. It was only because someone else would ask me to do something. They would recognize, who I was, or as a teacher or whoever. But he would never let me get up and do anything because he feared that I would open my mouth and tell what he was doing. And so, yeah, there was a high reverence for him in our church, and even to this day, I anticipate that people will. still try to label or put it on me or whoever else may come forth as a result of me being bold enough to speak at this big age. So, all right, let's go into our conversation because I feel like we spent some time. That was about, it was a lot of time answering our questions because we want to make sure that we do um, answer those questions because those are important. So tonight's topic is entitled Pastors or Predators. And I chose this topic because a story came across my lap concerning Aretha Franklin, a very well known R&B singer from back in the day. Of course, everybody knows who she is. Everybody regards her as this high. She's an icon. She is someone that listen, earned her respect. Okay, she's been on. No, literally, pun intended. But she's earned her respect. She is who she is. She's the queen of soul. Okay, R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Y'all, everybody knows.
I'm not
So
what mainstream.
this woman is uh her story, not many know her story though. Everybody knows her as this icon, and they know about her gowns and her hats and her furs and her diamonds and all that stuff. I even went into her mansion. Not literally, but online. I was able to like view her mansion. This was like some time ago. To see how she was living and the stuff that like what she liked, the way that she decorated her home and all those things. But her story is very dark. Um, and her father, his name was C.L. Franklin. He was a pastor in Chicago at a church, right? And well respected man, prominent in his community and all throughout his town and his cities. However, comma, he was a predator. He was a whole juice box. This person was not only messing with the women, he was a womanizer. He had a wife, mind you, but his wife wasn't good enough. So he was sleeping with the women all in the community, in his church. And not only did he stop there, he was sleeping with the children as well. So the women and the men, or the boys and the girls, I'm sorry, were his choice.
And the
Uh,
pets.
and the pets. He was eating the pets. So no, he's eating the dogs and the cats. He eating whatever he can get his little mouth on, all the delicacies. Okay, out of all of the fruit from the tree that he could have eaten from in the garden, he chose to eat from the tree, the fruits of his own body, his daughter. Okay,
Jeez Louise.
so there was speculation early on that because she was in a household and because of how full of lust and perversion this man was, that she was one of his culprits, or anyone that was in his home was a culprit. And so at 12 years old, Aretha Franklin, who was also labeled fast in her church and all those things, when she got pregnant at 12 with
Mm.
her first child, her first son, um, no father was in the picture. Nobody saw this child's father. Nobody was nothing spoken about him in, the news or anything. And so speculation started that it was her father's child. Um, so then, fast forward to age 15, she gets pregnant again. Same thing, no father is recorded. The children look alike, and and so no proof that it's someone else's child. Everyone is talking that it's her father's child again. He had a weird relationship with his daughter as well, and it was just all over the place. So we wanted to unpack that story tonight, and not a lot of it. It's so similar to our stories, um, but I also wanted to just have the conversation. So, Bianca, what do you think about that? Because that was tea. There was a
First
lot of
of
it was very
all,
hot.
Lord have mercy. Second of all, it's a different level. Incest is a different level of sick. It's all sick, but your own child is just, I don't even understand how that thought can go through someone's mind. Thirdly, when I was looking at the story, it was saying that a whole bunch of he had his uh pick on whatever women. And when I looked at the picture of him, I'm like, ew. So I guess that's for another day because there's something that attracts women to these leaders. It ain't got nothing to do with what they look like because that man shouldn't have had his pick of women.
Oh no, not at all.
So I don't get that.
Yeah, it's power
Like,
because even my predator, like I was saying, I'm 12 years old. I absolutely did not want him nowhere near me physically, let alone you're about 46 years old, balding, like a whole entire year balding, bald spot in the middle, with a suit and church shoes.
and that was before the men had the units. So you can't do
Yes,
nothing about
you
it.
know. So and even now don't do ain't do nothing about it. So you got on the church suit with church shoes, church socks. You smell like church clothes and cologne,
And pews.
and you literally are in my space molesting, grooming, like the fondling and the touching and the all of the tongue, all of the disgust. It's so disgusting. Every time I think about it, I can't even. I can't even.
Makes me
It's nothing
sick.
about him that I would want, and the fact that you would look at a child in any way other than how they should be viewed is demented. It's beyond me. Like if
It
for
really
any
is.
man or woman to, especially the women in the church that I grew up in, to literally label me, I'm walking through puberty, actively walking through puberty. I'm not even 18 years old at all. So why would you label me at all? And the job of those church mothers was to help me navigate, like to teach the younger women. So there was no teaching. There was labeling. I was called Jezebel. I literally was told that I couldn't wear, certain things, and I was like bullied and hazed and all those things that come with that system. And
Yeah.
it's so sad because of I can recall so many times that I would work so hard to make them like me, to be in their presence. I gravitated to church mothers, like the older mothers were my safe haven, like the Mother Eva Henry, and I'm giving names tonight. If they slip out, then oh well. So all of y'all know who I'm talking about because I'm sure that y'all
Oh
want to
well.
run to. I'm actually free indeed, and so I'm speaking like Mother Eva Henry was one place that I would go. I would stay at her house with her granddaughter, and we would just like I would talk to her about everything, and I wish that she knew how dark my life was at that time, but she tried to help me. She made sure that I ate. She made sure that I spiritually ate. She made sure that she told me who I was, what my worth was. Don't let anybody discount me. And that's where I got all that from. She would say, "Oh no, baby, no. When you go into a store, you don't go all the way to the back. That's where the discount is. You stay in the front, and if you can't find anything in the front, you walk out the store. But find what you like, and always look at the front. You go to the back. No, that's where the discounts are." And then she made me know. She let me know that men who choose you should never go to the back. They should always
Hmm.
see you as top of the line. And so I understood her wisdom was so necessary at that time. But for anyone to think that a child would consent to molestation or that a child wants it, No, by the time I was 11, 12 years old, my body may have been craving certain things because, um,
Cause
this
it's
is going
supposed
a
to
little
around
too
that time.
deep. Yeah, it's going a
Yeah, yeah,
little
we
deep.
are going a little too. We gotta save it. We gotta save it for next week.
But when you,
We
but
got
when you are, no, but for real, like, oh my God, when you are like, when you're being molested and groomed and you've already been raped, so by the time, oh, I said the word, I have to
don't
say
say
great. I hope they
great.
don't take that off. But when you're great, you and hormonal as a child that's 12 and 13, your body is already going through hormonal shifts and you don't understand what you're dealing with or going through and all those things. And so no child wants it. You know what I mean? Nobody is welcoming what we're actually being given, like or what we're being taught, so to speak. And so, oh Lord, yeah, girl, I just it just makes me go it takes me all the way back. But I didn't want that grown, bald headed, no, oh my God, not desirable, short midget man. No, for real, I'm
Midget
irritated.
man.
I'm irritated. Holy God. Yeah,
That is
so
funny. I can't.
Aretha, like
But
Aretha
yeah, that's
Franklin's
weird.
father, is very weird because, sir, you were not desirable. Nobody wants you, but
Yeah,
that
but
power.
apparently he had his pick of women. So it is what it is. But for him to molest his own child is just the craziest thing. I mean, I know that does happen. But that's crazy.
So that was her father and her pastor. So that's what drew me to her story because she had to serve in that
Mm,
church. She had to stand up and sing in that church. She shouted in that church. She received the Holy Ghost in that church. She was baptized in that church by her dad.
Lord,
It's
it's
such
a
a
special
sick
place. God has a place for those type of people.
no for real.
Cause
I
what?
was a yeah, my Aretha Franklin touched my her story touched mine, mind you. She's never spoken about it. She took that to her grave.
Literally.
Here I am given the privilege to open my mouth and speak. And so here I am. I came to that church. I got baptized in that church. Deacon Ross Maddock, I believe his no, it wasn't Ross, no. It wasn't Ross. Deacon Maddock. I was thinking Ross Paddock. Deacon
Oh no.
Maddock it was like a grandfather to me because that was my mother's. She called him dad. So yeah, he was a deacon at the church, and so I was his granddaughter, and he treated me like his granddaughter. But he baptized me in Jesus' name at the age of 12, and my life changed. I received the spirit, like the Holy Ghost, and I um, really started to want to know who Jesus was because I was very intrigued by him. Um, I'm grateful that the grooming and the molestation didn't change my identity in Christ. Even though
Hmm.
I kept searching for Him. Like I always want, we had such a tight relationship because of the trauma that I had already walked through. That I just wanted to know. We were close. Like that was my friend. I talked to him about, and and he kept answering questions and the fact that I was on this journey to find him and to get to know him, and so he made sure that I reached that destination. But I can honestly say that I was baptized till I served at church. I started a youth choir called Teens for Christ. We would go out in the streets and evangelize and all the things, all of that stuff that I was doing it while being molested and while being
Right.
groomed. And while being great. And I literally, I promise you, I don't know how I did it. I was being talked about. I was being lied on. I was being abandoned. I was being stripped. I could talk about all the things that I was going through. It was such a dark environment that was designed for me to die. Like the enemy wanted me to die in that environment. So I can honestly say that I feel like Aretha Franklin is my like her story is my story. My father that I trusted, he grew me, and so of course he told me to call him dad. Um, my father wasn't in the home, and so our relationship was one that he would pick me up, take me to church. He would take me up, like other places, like to get things that I needed. And so he made sure that, oh, I'm going to the store, and I would walk with him to the corner store, um, on Fifth and York, and I could get whatever I wanted from that corner store. And we would come back, and I would sit on the couch with him, and I would sit like he would make sure that I was sitting next to him, and we would watch movies with my siblings. And so this relationship, I was the special one. He told me that I was
Yeah.
special. He literally told me those
I
words.
told you
Like,
that's how they do it.
yep. He told me I was his favorite. So out of eight of the children, I was the favorite child. So imagine being told you're the favorite out of eight, and he gives you money. You have money when you go to school. And
Yeah.
so you don't have to eat what everybody else is eating. You eat what you want to eat. But that was all a part of grooming.
It was a part of grooming, and my abuser used to pick me up and drop me off from school so I wouldn't have to take SEPTA. And a lot of the abuse
Oh my
happened in
God!
the car, by the way. But
Wow.
he would do that. He would buy gifts. I mean, laptops, uh, all manners of stuff. Give me money for lunch too. So they all working by the same playbook. So at this point, it's a good thing that we're talking about this and people are listening and beginning to really open up to talking about it because it's so taboo, because they do the same things. It's the same tactics over and over and over again. And we just need to
Mhm.
learn them and know what to look out for because it's the same thing.
Yeah, it is. It's the same thing. The grooming led to molestation. At 12, his first, time molesting me, like actually physically touching me, inappropriately. I will never forget it. He came over my home to literally pray for me because I was going through something really, really bad. Like I had just smoked some marijuana with my friends, but it was
Mary
laced with
Jane.
angel dust.
Oh no.
It was laced with Mary Jane. Yeah, you know the Mary Jane.
Like Smokey on Friday. I'm done.
Yeah, yeah, no, Smokey from the PJs, honey. I was cracked
Both
out.
Smokies.
Oh, both Smokies, honey. I was giving both Smokies at the same time. Okay? No, seriously, I was out of my mind. By the time I got back to my house I was 12. I had just started high school, the first day of high school, and I
Mm.
ended up literally out of my mind because what I had just received the Holy Ghost that the night before, went to school, the first day of school, child, and
Lord.
I lost my natural mind. Like I literally lost my mind, and the doctor said I would never come back.
Oh,
So he came to my
good.
house. My mother had, of
Did you
course,
end
she
up in
called
the
her.
chicken coop?
No, so I ended
All
up
right. All right,
in
good. All
our
right.
back. Right, I ended up in the backyard, literally. Listen, I was going for like a year, easy. Hey, Zanisha. So I ended up in the backyard, in our home, not in the chicken coop, but in the backyard,
That
all the way
might
in
as
the
well be the
back.
chicken coop, Tara.
So that's the chicken coop. We was down there at 15 York with a bunch of Mexicans and Puerto Ricans. So yes, absolutely equivalent to a chicken coop. But girl, let me tell you, he comes in our home and he comes to the back room where my mother stayed. and she let me stay in her room because I was afraid to stay in my room. That's how I was schitzing so bad. So when I get when he comes walks through the when he walked through the door, I felt the same spirit that I felt when my oldest brother would come in my room at night and grape and molest me. So I knew that spirit very well. And so when he
Mhm.
came in the door, he walked through the threshold and he sat on my mother's bed. And I will never forget it. I was scared to open my eyes to, like see who it was because all I felt was that presence, that evil.
Mhm.
And next thing you know, I felt him like literally touching, down my hands, my breast, and then other parts. And I remember just eventually I blacked out, like went to sleep because I was just so afraid. Um, and that was a lot of nights he would come over and I would see him. He would be sitting in front of me. I would be sitting on the couch and I would hear the spirit in him taunting me and like laughing, and I would hear the enemy speaking through him. Even though he would be talking regular, I would hear the enemy talking through him.
Oh
There was
no.
so many things. Yes, so he would keep molesting and grooming. All those things was happening at the same. That happened for a whole year straight. And then it went from that to your dad now to flat out molestation. Like just he became bolder and bolder in his tactics and his movements and the things that he would do. Um, he was like introducing me to his touch again. Because remember, I was 6 the first time he did my hair, so that's where grooming started. But then it literally moved from that to molestation, and of course, the molestation went deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper until I was about 18. 2 years, 2 weeks after turning 18 is when the grace started. So that grooming is crazy. Tonight we were just talking specifically about grooming and like all of the things that goes with that. Nothing about that grooming or molestation for me was consensual. I never agreed to it. I never desired it. I never wanted it. I was never attracted to him. Um, Literally, all the like, ill. What about you, Zanisha? I mean, I said Zanisha because she's texting in the chat. She said all juice boxes carry a nasty spirit, and they
They do.
say that they're praying, but they're actually praying. She also
Mm.
said we need to talk about this without ceasing. Like we don't need to stop. We need to keep the brakes. I mean, the gas on and just keep going. Like just keep driving.
And that was Tanisha.
No stops. Yes. No, that's
Thank you,
Zanisha.
Tanisha. And thank you for being supportive and commenting because this is really not easy. So just knowing that there's someone supporting or there's people supporting and not telling us to be quiet feels
Because that's what we've
makes it feel
heard.
better.
Yeah. She said no
So thank
child
you.
ever agrees to grooming.
No, they don't. You can't.
Yeah, no. No. Absolutely not. There's nothing that I would do. So what conversation do you think churches avoid about grooming, boundaries, and protecting children that desperately need to be open? So I'm gonna ask that again because Zanisha helped me ask that question. She said, "Child never agrees to grooming." So from a church angle, I want to say more from a kingdom angle because the church really actually entertains it. They are okay with it.
Right.
Majority of them, the church is very flesh heavy. They're very flesh heavy. They're flaunting everything. Everything is on display. It's like a part of if you want to be in the church of where Satan is the father, and he's the one that operates that church, and it's one Lord, one faith, one baptism. Like literally, Satan's church has one Lord, one faith, one baptism. There's one way in and it's a way out. Okay, Gotta come in
Mm.
through the door, and you leave through the wide gate. Okay. And so that's one exit. He has it all laid out. It's mapped out. And so, but the church will always avoid having the conversation about grooming. The church needs to eliminate holy hugs. I feel like the church and the
Wait,
kingdom
who
are two
said the
different
church
things.
gotta eliminate holy hugs?
This is Zanisha. So let me answer these questions in the chat real quick.
Oh, okay.
Um, so Tammy said the little child in you has a voice. She wants to make sure, like the little child in you has a voice. Yes, Tammy. Do you
Hmm.
concur with that, Bianca?
I guess. Wait,
Are you finding your voice?
I I guess I am because this is. I guess I'm here telling everybody. So
So is that the child in you finally speaking,
I
or is
believe
it
so.
Bianca, the 37-year-old, speaking for her?
I really think it's kind of the child because I'm being real vulnerable. That's not my normal personality.
Hmm.
So I believe it's the child in me because I would be coming from a whole completely different angle if it was who I am right now or who I like to be seen as.
Yeah, it's funny because I can honestly say that when I came out of my struggle, and this is like a couple of like this is really as recent as last year, really, when I was like, I need you to tell your story. The little girl, he let me know that the little girl is free to walk out of her prison door. And I was like, wait a minute. Wait, I'm in prison? I, for 42 years, mind you, have been in prison. One of the young ladies that I'm connected to through the well, God connected me to a group of women. And one of the young ladies let me know, like, yo, I saw you in the spirit. God said that you're Cinderella. And I said, Cinderella. I was like, wow, it's funny that he would choose that because that's one of my favorite childhood um so fairy tale stories of princesses. And she said, yeah, God said that you are Cinderella. He said, and I don't know, she started talking, she kept talking. And when she started speaking prophetically, what stuck out to me was the fact that she mentioned Cinderella. And what I loved about her story is that shoe, and she gets invited to the ball, and the prince is looking for her at the end, and she leaves her shoe on the step. God gave me the ministry Power to Tread years ago, and he let me know that I will be helping people navigate through life and tread, upon serpents and scorpions and all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means harm us. That's like one of my favorite scriptures. But he was like, take a look at Cinderella. Look at her feet. And I said, okay. He said, yeah, she's missing a shoe. And he said, you've been helping people navigate all of these years, and you've been giving people power to tread all of these years, and didn't even realize that you're missing a shoe. And I
Mm.
said, what? He said, yeah, you've been walking without one shoe all of these years. And that was last year. And once I realized that I was missing a shoe, I wept. I just kept crying. I'm like, oh my God, Lord, wow. What? I'm helping everybody get where they need to be at, and I'm stuck, basically. And he was like, "Oh no, you're not stuck. I'm giving you your shoe tonight." Like that conversation opened up so many. It just opened up so much to me. Like I was able to finally take a breath outside of the cave that I was in. Sorry, y'all. Of course, um,
Take a moment.
being able to finally. I've been doing this for a long time, right? Um, I didn't realize that it was 42 whole years. The reason why church doors is so significant is because I walked into the church thinking that this broken little girl, would be made whole. And it did happen. I was already broken. I had already had, you know, from the age of around 3 until 8, being molested by my older sibling. And then at 11, being raped by my aunt's boyfriend. 11 and a half, being raped by a neighborhood 18-year-old boy. When we went to trial for that part of my story, the 18-year-old was able to walk scot free because the test results from the grape kit showed that I was not a virgin. I was
Oh,
not a virgin
stars.
because I had already been violated. And I walked away from there
That's crazy.
so broken because they did not believe me. I remember being on the stand just weeping and crying and trying to just, as I was being I was in a hot seat, so I'm like, that's not true. That's not what happened. That's not true. That's not who I am. That's not true. Not that person. I didn't. I had never been with anybody at the age of 12. Sorry, y'all,
And they
but
have to defend and they have to defend yourself in open court
mm,
is
yeah,
terrible because I went through it too. It's humiliating.
yep.
Um you can't
What
barely
was
get through your words. You can't think about what you really supposed to be saying. That's really tough. I'm sorry you had to go through
Yeah.
that.
But guess who went through that with me? My
God.
abuser, my
Oh, and he was there?
pedophile. Oh, he was
Oh,
there
he
in
was
the
in the
room.
court?
He was in the
Lord God.
courtroom. He was in the courtroom, literally. When as a young man, and I remember him like yesterday. His name was Warren Wright, and his family is in the courtroom, and they're like excited, they like going off when the
I'm
verdict was
about to look
read.
him up. Warren Wright, you said?
I don't need to. That's not what I'm here for. I don't
I'm just
care about
saying.
that. I really wish that I didn't
You
even.
know how I
It's
get
it's
down.
a bunch of them. It's a bunch of them in the earth.
You know how I
So
get
yeah.
down though.
But my
Oh
point is,
Lord.
when the verdict was read, and his family is like, yes, they're celebrating, and
Like
I'm
he
walking
didn't
away
just
from
do this to
there.
me.
I'm walking away broken again. This broken down, and this pastor is in the room. Watch the whole thing, right? He was there the whole time. And he's talking and he's like, "Oh, you gonna be okay, no worries." He's praying for me, all this stuff. Mind
Oh
you,
my goodness, that is sick.
I already know that he's already violated me. He's already
That's
touched me
sick.
inappropriately himself. And
That is
so
so sick.
I just it just was that those stories don't even compare to me walking through doors looking for Jesus to show up and walking into the hands of this predator. So I never caught a break. Never caught a break.
Yeah.
Aretha Franklin did not catch a break. She
Yeah.
just kept going. She just kept going. She just kept going. I believe that the reason why she ended up with cancer in her body like that is because she never caught a break. She never had the opportunity to forgive her abusers because there were many. She was not ever able to talk about what she walked through. There
Mm.
was not a trauma specialist. Um, Lord. So her story resonated with me in a way that made me feel sick. I felt every bit of what she walked through because I was her. Like this, and I'm not an icon and all those things. Um, but I'm saying like we have, like we both have this mission in this earth and you walk through this earth broken. Is like Bianca, you too. I thought that
I'm about to say
I
I
thought
have
about
something to
you.
say because my mom was
Yeah.
abused as a child and my grandmom. So it's like what I guess this is a conversation for another time, but like what is it about? Is that a curse? Is it something, and this is what I've been struggling with my whole life. What is it about me? What why is everyone not being abused sexually? You know what I mean? Like what is it about
Hmm.
me specifically or about you specifically? What is this? So I
I
guess
think
we got
it's
to
the
get into that.
chosen.
I don't know.
Yeah. I think that there is a war going on between the church and the kingdom. And when the enemy knows that he has evangelists, pastors, teachers, see, here's the church side of it for me, right? Because I'm always going to go into that vein. And, we unpack like this in real time, y'all. We don't, like, when we
We
talk,
do
only
these
difference
are
is,
everyday conversations.
the only difference is that she's going to do a lot more laughing as I'm
Yeah.
explaining, or we're pulling out like certain things, and she's like, like her laugh is more like what than it's like I don't know how to explain it, but it's that nervous laugh that I recognize, and a lot of you probably
Yeah, it's a
recognize.
nervous laugh for sure because what else
Um,
I'm supposed to do?
yeah, it's like it's
It's
that.
crazy. But
Um,
like is
but
my whole life back to what I was saying real quick. My whole life I always felt like there was something about me that attracts that. And I don't know if that came from being labeled as what I was labeled as a child, but I can't get I don't have answers for it, so I can't really get over that. So that's another psychological issue that goes on. Like, is there something about me? You know what I mean?
yeah, I know what you mean, girl. Of course I do. I feel like besides trying to, yeah, no, Zanisha, we understand her laugh, honey. Zanisha and I laughed so much as kids that we would get in so much trouble. And to this day, honestly, we still look at each other and be like, like we'll laugh at no, but our stuff, the stuff we laugh at now is really funny, funny. The stuff we laughed at then was hilarious. It's still hilarious, but we laughed because we were really genuinely crying on the inside. We were trying to escape so many things. And I feel like God put me in her life. And she was in my life. I was in her life. She was in our house. Literally, she lived with us. She called my mom, mom, my dad, dad. So this is my sister cousin by marriage, and friendship, ironically. And this hits very close to home because we're kind of talking about the same the same people. Like these are literally family members. So y'all will be hearing from Zanisha too throughout the podcast. It's nothing that either we did. Yeah, thank you for saying that. So it's literally
Thank
nothing
you.
that we did to cause what we walk through. It's just a spirit. The spirit that's in them is an ancient spirit. Um, and it's on a mission to drag as many people to hell as possible. And we survived. So you got to look at that. That
Yeah.
God was really in control. But at this age, it feels like my brother reassured me today. He was like, "You're not called to cover up for anything at this point. Like, I don't care how old he is now. I don't care about who is going to be affected by what you say. You have to be concerned about the kingdom. You have to be concerned about who God assigned you to, and you have to make sure that you keep your focus where it needs to stay at." Do we Are we going deeper into our story? Yes. Um, Next
Yeah,
week we
next
definitely
week.
will be
Because
talking
we need a break.
about
We need a break, y'all. We need a little break.
we will be talking
It's
about
heavy.
we talked about the grooming, so of course we need to go into molestation. Like we can't go past that. She said all the things me and Tara are to each other. No, literally, we thank God that we have each other, and that what we have is it's like that's my mom's daughter, so that's my little sister. Like, and it's not even a fake thing. Like, my mom thought that that was her child, and I think she really thought that was my mom was her mom, and that's like in a way it's funny because my mom would say she would call us and she would say Tara, she would call all of us like literally in a row, and Zanisha would answer, "Yes, mother." Like, that's not your mother, Zanisha. Like, what? But when she would say yes, mother, she would look at us and go. So all of us would literally get in trouble, laugh. Oh my God. It was so, our house was hilarious. And at the same time, it was a lot of things that we were combing through that we didn't even know we were combing through. And it's so crazy looking back now. What we were trying to escape, what she was escaping, running from, running into my mom. We were already in her life when we was from 6 until now. But honestly, we were really in some dark places that we didn't even deserve to be in, around some dark people. And my mom was a safe haven, and she didn't know what was going on, which is so crazy. We are going to go deeper. I think we did go into that a couple weeks ago.
We said we mentioned it, but we didn't really go into it because my story with the parents, no, because I wasn't the only one abused at my church.
Mhm.
There
Right.
were several of us. We'll go deeper into that, y'all, at some other point, but we got to discuss that
Yeah, Zanisha
because
said I was lost.
the
Go
parents
ahead,
had
sorry.
knowledge. The parents had knowledge.
Hmm.
So I don't know if they were
Uh,
brainwashed or I don't know, but we'll go into that on another show because
no,
right
for
now
real.
we can't do it right now.
No, and then it's just a lot. When we start unpacking, we end up going into other stories about the story that went into a story about story. So
Right.
we can't like we have to slow walk it because believe it or not, for us it's also therapeutic.
Mm-hmm.
We're combing through some things, and I feel like I was telling Bianca, I feel like God is helping her. Like, He is our therapy session. So He's allowing us to freely open our mouths and speak, and He's saying, this is a safe space. You can speak, say what you need to say, get it out of your spirit, get it off of your mind, so that you can actually do what I called you to do, and do it freely, and do it from a healed place. So those broken places, those broken pieces, He's literally putting the fragments back together for us as we speak, as we go. So while we're taking this journey to pick up treasures, He's helping us literally um, walk as well, little by little, step by step. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step at a time, and so we are moving in the right direction. Do you think so? I guess she doesn't.
Oh, you talking to
Bianca.
me? I thought you were talking to the
Yeah,
traders.
I mean, I'm talking to all of you, but I'm
I thought she was talking to the
specifically talking to Bianca, Giselle, Knowles. Like, what?
not nose. That's stupid.
Listen, you
No,
that's
I
what you
think we're
acting
going in the right
like.
direction. I think this is healthy. Um, every time we've gone live, I felt a little bit of weight lifted. So I do believe we're doing the right thing. And also just educating. So traders, when you're listening, share this because tonight we dropped a lot of warning signs. So if you see these signs around people who are near your children, beware and be careful and watch because they like I said before, they play by the same playbook. It's all the same. So study
Yeah,
that
how about that?
and study that what we
Study the
said
playbook.
and study the playbook and make sure nobody is in your children's lives who are exhibiting those type of behaviors because that's what it is. No way around it.
Mm-mm-mm. Oh my God, because they know how to gain trust in environments that they, kind of are already welcomed in. If you welcome them into your home, pay attention. If you welcome them into your child's life, if they're whether they're a coach, a teacher, a best friend, or whoever, a loved one, a significant other. Zanisha said, of course, she said she would have lost her life without, my mom being in her life and without us being in her life. She said my mom saved her life years ago. When she found out that her brother did these things to her daughter. So Zanisha
Mm.
is walking through a lot. She said, you got to slow walk this and because this is a lot to unpack. So don't feel like you got to rush through this, which we don't feel. We feel like we are going at a pace that's comfortable for us. You know what I mean? And if it seems like we're
Yeah.
getting to the details, a lot of people will get on the live to find out like the nuts and the bolts and like get to like the meat of what we're talking about. Like, oh, what's the pastor's name? And oh my God. Those of you who know who I am, whether you're a family member or a friend or a foe. You know exactly what church I went to when I was a child. So I only had one. And so it's not hard to figure out. And I'm not going to sugarcoat his name. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything about him because guess what? I was uncovered and I'm not in it to uncover. But it is what it is. Like I'm also not gonna work hard to cover up. I'm not, everybody knows what church I went to, everybody knows where it was located, everybody knows everything. Okay? The church was like maybe less than 2 miles from my house, even though I lived in Philly. You can come over the bridge, which was literally about a mile over the bridge, and then 1 mile to my neighborhood. So that's how he was there every Sunday night, Bible study night on a Tuesday night, and any other night he felt like being in our homes because he was welcomed in our homes. So that's why it was with every chance that he had, there was grooming from the time I was 12 until I was 18. And it shifted from grooming and molestation to all out rape, rape. So y'all get it.
Grapes.
All the grapes that he felt like he could take on at one time.
Who
Okay,
even came up with
most
that? Why you gotta say that? Like, I don't even get
that was
that part. It's
you.
in a
You
dictionary. It's a
so,
word. Like, I don't get
yeah.
it. But
So
whatever.
yeah. But that's what was happening, and it was multiple times a night, easy, because he was right
Mm.
down the hall. That's another part of the story. And you have
That
to
we
like,
will unpack later.
comment, and subscribe because I'm not holding back anything, and I don't have to. Thank God. And at this big age, you already know how it goes. You're kind of going into menopausal stages. You really are not. You going to just open your mouth and speak what you need to speak, and who's going to check you but God? And when God checks you,
Right.
just shut up. You know what I mean? And that's just that. Um, but juice boxes are mass manipulators. It will get lighter when you are free. Yes, Tammy, it will get lighter when you're free. I hope, Tammy, I do hope that you are. Yeah, obviously, true healing doesn't care who it was. Yes, Tammy, that part,
Right.
that
Yes,
part,
Tammy.
that part,
Yes,
that
Tammy.
part, that part. That's my sister-in-law too, by the way. But
Hi,
she said
Tammy.
true healing
Do I know
doesn't
Tammy?
care who. No, that's you don't know her, but you will meet her. Um,
Okay.
but true healing doesn't care who it was. You're not trying to cover up for somebody and you were uncovered all these years, right? Like I don't
Right.
care who it
No.
was. No, we're not
I
doing
don't
that. This
care
is what
either.
happened. I was covered. I would be like, I would never say his name. Are you kidding me? Oh, please. I was forbidden to speak his name. He came in my DM basically looking at me through his he saw me. He would look into my soul. and said, "I dare you to open your mouth and speak." I said, oh, "Okay, you shouldn't have done that because I'm
Oh
going to do
my
that."
gosh.
But that's what I'm
Mm,
saying.
mm.
I'm never going to. I refuse to be silent because there's a soul attached to my testimony, and that's the only way that soul is going to overcome by the blood of the lamb and the word of my testimony. So that's how they're going to overcome, Bianca. You got to open your mouth and speak. So with that being
Well,
said, anything else?
that's what we doing, y'all.
So next week, you ready for the molestation part of the conversation?
Yes, I am going to prepare myself, and we're going to get into the nitty gritty, y'all.
All right. So we
So
think y'all have enough so
prepare
far.
yourselves, cause
No, y'all
it's
be
crazy.
prepared too. Okay. Yeah, that part. That part. We might go. I might do a couple of in betweens. Between now and next Friday. So every Friday, just if you set your notification bell, hit that bell and hit all so that you can get notified every time we put anything up. You'll see whether it's a video, a short, or a actual live, or even in the in our group sessions or just chatting just to see how everybody's doing. We will be live and we will be at any time you can expect something from us. So set the notification bell, like, comment, keep commenting, share, and invite somebody into the room, especially if they've gone through anything that you walk through. This is not easy. Just because we're free to speak doesn't mean that it's not easy. I'll probably take tomorrow to just decompress because
Lay
it is
down.
a lot. Yes, to lay down in green pasture. Okay? He makes us lay down. So we don't be wanting to lay down. We having stuff to do. But God will make you lay down. No, for real. Bianca, like, after we done
No,
talking,
for
she'll
real.
say,
I
I'm
know.
ready to take a nap. I gotta take a nap. I'm calling you back. Or she's walked away from a conversation where she has to throw up, literally. And I hear her throwing up.
Literally throw up.
It's
Literally
not
throw up.
a joke. Like God is walking her through
And
deliverance.
next week when we get into all that, I might go on mute a couple times because I'm probably gonna get sick because that's if that's how we doing this, then I don't know.
Yeah. Somebody said, I
Let
love
me
you
get some
both,
ginger ale.
and
Gotta
they
drink
love
some
our
ginger ale
courage.
first.
Yeah, no, I'm just keep talking. I'm not gonna put nothing on my stomach so I can just be able to just if some gotta come up, then we need to be able to cast the devil out. Okay? After hey, for those of you in the chat that are Holy Ghost filled, fire baptized, my cousin Kanye in the chat. So let me tell you something. Zanisha is in the chat, and we got some so we they know how to walk. Okay, so what they gonna do is stretch their hand, and next thing you know, you're gonna be ha. It's gonna come out. It's gonna come out because
Oh
yeah,
my
they
goodness.
know how to actually. No, I'm serious. Deliverance is the children's bread. So we gonna let put some bread to help you put that down, like just what I mean, and some water.
Mm.
But
And then
anyway,
we gotta make sure behind the scenes. I mean, we being candid. We gotta make sure we saying the right words. I think it's certain things we can't really say. Like we gotta say grape. I don't know. Do we have to disguise certain words or not? I guess we'll figure that out.
yeah, for sure that word is a no. And when we say like the N word, we got to figure out how to say that word. Um,
Ninja, duh.
oh, oh, okay, all right. So ninja, duh. But I don't. I'm used to just being able to say what I need to say. She's used to actually just speaking freely. But for the sake of yeah, yeah. Zanisha said it's gonna come out. Deliverance is the children's bread. Absolutely. So we got to figure that part out. But we need, I went to some YouTube training, so I do know some of the things. But I'm learning all of the other things on the job. But I feel like we're moving in the right direction, and so I'm excited about that. But y'all, thank y'all for showing up tonight. Again,
Thank you
like,
so
comment,
much.
subscribe, and we're excited to have you here, and we look forward to speaking with you again next week. So set the alarm, and when you see that we're on, just share it with somebody so that we can continue to build the kingdom one soul at a time. All right. Love you much. See y'all later. Bye.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
guys. Night night.
Bianca. Good job. Talk to you soon. Bye.
I love you. Good night.
Wait, if we know how to actually leave. All right, there you go. See y'all.